Welcome to yet another lecture on fluid mechanics. In this session, we will discuss the applications of dimensional analysis. The methods of dimensional analysis available are Buckingham's pi theorem and Rayleigh's method. Here we have a question to illustrate the application of Buckingham's pi theorem. The resistance force F of a ship is a function of its length L, its velocity V, gravitational acceleration g, density rho, that is essentially the density of fluid, that is seawater, and the dynamic viscosity of the fluid, again the viscosity of water, mu. Develop a functional relationship in terms of non-dimensional numbers using Buckingham's pi theorem. Here the resistance force, which is essentially the force of drag, is given to be a function of length L, velocity V, acceleration due to gravity g, mass density rho, and dynamic viscosity mu. So F is a function of L, V, G, rho, and mu. Let it be equation number 1. So mathematically this can be also written as a function F1 of force, length, velocity g, rho, mu is equal to 0. Total number of variables involved in this problem is equal to 6. So let us say small letter n is equal to 6. Dependent variable here is the force. The value of force depends on the other variables given. So dependent variable is force, that is 1, and independent variable we have 5. The length L, velocity V, acceleration due to gravity g, mass density rho, and dynamic viscosity mu. Total we have 6 variables. Now let us consider the dimensions of these variables. Length L, its unit is meter and it has a dimension capital L. Velocity V, its unit is meter per second and its dimension is Lt raised to minus 1. Fundamental dimensions are m, L, T, and theta, that is a temperature. Here temperature is not the part of the problem. The gravitational acceleration g, its unit is meter per second square and its dimension is Lt raised to minus 2. Mass density rho, its unit is kilogram per meter cube and its dimension is ml raised to minus 3. Dynamic viscosity mu, its unit is Pascal second or Newton second per meter square and its dimension is ml raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 1. It is better for us to write the unit here as kilogram per meter second, that is same as Newton second per meter square in the case of dynamic viscosity, in order to obtain this dimension. Since the unit is kilogram per meter second, that is same as Newton second per meter square. Kilogram per meter second, if you insert the dimensions, you will get m divided by Lt, that is ml raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 1. The resistance force F, of course you can use Newton's law, F is equal to m into A in order to get the dimensions of the force, that is Newton, which is essentially kilogram meter per second square, that is ml t raised to minus 2, the dimension of force. According to Buckingham's pi theorem, if there are n number of variables, both dependent and independent together, involved in a physical problem, and if m number of fundamental dimensions are required to represent them, then the number of prominent dimensionless groups in order to represent the given physical phenomenon will be n minus m, which are known as pi terms. And here we have number of fundamental dimensions required to express the variables given are 3, m, l, and t. So therefore small letter m, that is number of fundamental dimensions required in this case, is 3. and total number of variables n is equal to 6. So therefore, number of dimensionless parameters is equal to n minus m, that is 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3. So therefore, in the given problem, number of pi terms, prominent dimensionless groups, is equal to 3, and let us say pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3. Therefore, the given problem can be mathematically stated as function of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 is equal to 0. That is, here function of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 is equal to 0, or it can be written as pi 1 is a function of pi 2 and pi 3 and so on. So now how to get each pi term? So in order to get the non-dimensional parameters pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 in this problem, let us first write down the expressions for pi 1, pi 2, pi 3. For that purpose, we have to identify what we call repeating variables. So out of the 6 variables in all, now we have to choose the repeating variables. In order to choose the repeating variables in each pi term, pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3, we have to consider a certain criteria. This is regarded as a thumb rule for it. So for repeating variables, the essential thing is, normally we choose one property as a geometric property and one variable as a flow property, and the third variable as the fluid property. Now how to get the repeating variables, number of repeating variables involved? Here the number of repeating variables, that is m. M is the number of fundamental dimensions required to express the given variables in the problem. That is, already we have identified that m is equal to 3 in this case, m, l and t. So number of repeating variables in each of the pi term, pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 should be equal to 3. And the total number of variables in each pi term will be m plus 1. That means m plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4. So out of which 3 will be repeating. So in order to get the repeating variable, the general thumb rule is one must be a geometric property, and the other one flow property, and the third one a fluid property. So here out of the properties, out of the given variables f, l, v, g, rho and mu, so let us now choose the repeating variable. Obviously the geometric property that is available in the context is only length, so definitely that the length will be chosen. Now regarding the flow property, so here we have two in number, the velocity and the acceleration due to gravity, and out of them the velocity, the flow velocity, or which in this case is the velocity of the ship considering the relative motion. So that velocity is the prominent one. So the flow property as repeating variable, we will choose velocity, and the third one is the fluid property. So the property of seawater, here when we consider its mass density and the dynamic viscosity. So out of them, the mass density is more relevant here because of the involvement of free surface flow and the gravitational effect. So we consider the mass density as the third repeating variable. So once we select the repeating variables L, V and rho, we can formulate the pi terms now. So the pi term pi 1 is equal to L raised to A1, V raised to B1, rho raised to C1, and then so we require the fourth non-repeating variable. See, already we have chosen L, V and rho. The remaining variables in the context are force F, acceleration due to gravity G and dynamic viscosity mu. So in each of the pi terms we will incorporate the force F, acceleration due to gravity G and dynamic viscosity mu. And the repeating variables in each one will be raised to the certain indices, A1, B1, C1 in the first pi term, A2, B2, C2 in the second pi term, and A3, B3, C3 in the third pi term. So in all we will have the pi terms pi1 is equal to L raised to A1, V raised to B1, rho raised to C1 and then into F. That is the first pi term. Second pi term pi2 is equal to L raised to A2, V raised to B2, rho raised to C2 and then into G. Then the third pi term, that is L raised to A3, V raised to B3, rho raised to C3 into mu. So it is important to note that the non-repeating variables are force, acceleration due to gravity and mu. And one more important criteria is that the dependent variable is never chosen as the repeating variable. Here the repeating variables are length, velocity and mass density. Now we will consider the first pi term. Pi1 is equal to L raised to A1, V raised to B1, rho raised to C1 into F. Now we will insert the dimensions of each of the variables involved in the pi term here. So what is the dimension of the pi term? We already know that it is dimensionless. So we can write m raised to 0, L raised to 0, t raised to 0. That is equal to, now insert the dimensions of L, V, rho and F here in the first pi term. So L raised to A1, velocity Lt raised to minus 1, that whole raised to B1. Then for density ml raised to minus 3 whole raised to C1 and then m into force. Force is mlt raised to minus 2. Remember we have to find out the indices A1, B1, C1 in order to get the pi term. Now what we can do is we can separate the indices of m, l and t in order to equate the powers of m, l, t on both sides to obtain the numerical indices A1, B1 and C1. So here we have m raised to z1 plus m, because m is involved here in the last two variables, m raised to c1 and m raised to 1. So we can write m raised to c1 plus 1. Then length, here we have L raised to A1, in the second variable L raised to B1, the third variable L raised to minus 3C1, the last one we have L. So therefore you can write L raised to A1 plus B1 minus 3C1 plus 1. Then time t, t raised to minus B1 in the second variable, then the last variable t raised to minus 2. So therefore t raised to minus B1 minus 2. So once you get this, we will equate the powers of m, l and t on both sides. So left hand side the power of m is 0 and the right hand side power of m is c1 plus 1. So c1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So c1 is equal to minus 1. Now equating the powers of t in the first pi term now. So powers of t, left hand side is 0 and the right hand side here we have minus b1 minus 2. So you have minus b1 minus 2 is equal to 0, b1 is equal to minus 2. And now equating the powers of L on both sides. So on the left hand side here we have 0 and the right hand side powers of L, that is A1 plus B1 minus 3C1 plus 1. So A1 plus B1 minus 3C1 plus 1 is equal to 0, in which we will now insert the value of C1 as minus 1 and value of B1 as minus 2. So once you insert that and solve for it, solve for A1, the A1 is equal to minus 2 you'll get. So once you get the indices now, A1, B1 and C1, A1 is minus 2, B1 is minus 2 and C1 is minus 1. So insert that in the pi term. First pi term is L raised to A1, V raised to B1, rho raised to C1 into F. So you substitute that, you will get pi1 is equal to L raised to minus 2, V raised to minus 2, rho raised to minus 1 into F. So if you bring down these variables with negative indices in the denominator, you can write as a ratio f pi1 is equal to f divided by rho into L square V square. So this is the first pi term. Now take the second pi term, pi2. We have already formulated all the three pi terms. Pi2 is equal to the repeating variables L, V, rho and the non-repeating one is G. So pi2 is equal to L raised to A2, V raised to B2, rho raised to C2 into G. Now insert dimensions. So m raised to 0, L raised to 0, t raised to 0, that is the left hand side, because pi 2 is dimensionless. And on the right hand side, we will insert the dimensions of each of the variable length, velocity, density, and g. So you will get L raised to A2, LT raised to minus 1 raised to B2, ML raised to minus 3 raised to C2, LT raised to minus 2. That is acceleration, dimension of acceleration due to gravity. So if you separate out and then equate the powers of MLT as explained in the previous case, you will get the index C2 is equal to 0 and B2 is equal to minus 2, and the third index A2 is equal to A2 is equal to 1. So you will get the indices A2, B2 and C2. A2 is 1, B2 is minus 2, C2 is equal to 0 after equating the powers of MLT on both sides here. So once you get this, now we can write down the pi term pi 2 as L raised to A2, that is L raised to 1, V raised to B2, that is minus 2, rho raised to C2, that is rho raised to 0, into G. So rho raised to 0 is 1, so that will vanish. So what you get is pi 2 is equal to Lg divided by V square. That is the second pi term. Similarly, you substitute the dimensions in the third pi term. Third pi term pi 3 is equal to L raised to A3, V raised to B3, rho raised to C3. The indices are A3, B3, C3. Then into mu, the non-repeating variable mu. Now insert the dimensions. Left hand side m raised to 0, L raised to 0, T raised to 0. Right hand side L raised to A3, LT raised to minus 1 raised to B3, ML raised to minus 3 raised to C3, ML raised to minus 1, T raised to minus 1. So equating the powers of M, L and T as we did in the earlier cases. So we will get M, while equating the powers of M, you will get C3 is equal to minus 1. Equating the powers of T, that will lead you to the value of B3 as minus 1. And then equating powers of L, you will get the value of A3 as minus 1. Now you insert the dimensions, the indices A3, B3 and C3 in the third pi terms. That is pi 3 is equal to L raised to minus 1, V raised to minus 1, rho raised to minus 1 into mu. So what do you get? So the variables with negative indices can be brought down to the denominator. You will get pi 3 is equal to mu divided by rho LV. Now you can formulate the functional relationship once you have found out pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3. So we got pi 1 as F divided by rho L square V square, pi 2 is Lg by V square, pi 3 as mu divided by rho LV. So what we can write mathematically, function of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 is equal to 0. So the given problem can be expressed like this. Or you can write each pi term is a function of the others. So you can write like this also, pi 1 is equal to a function of pi 2, pi 3. So if you write the pi terms in this format, that is the first pi term is the function of the second and the third one, then you can write F by rho L square V square is equal to a function phi 1 of Lg by V square and mu divided by rho LV. That is essentially the answer. Now, but we can find out or identify the dimensionless parameters involved here, the prominent ones in the flow context. So F is equal to, so here what you can write is this F is equal to taking rho L square V squared to the right hand side. You can write F is equal to rho L square V squared into function of Lg by V square, mu divided by rho LV. See, essentially Lg by V square. So if you take the reciprocal, it will be V square by Lg. And if you take the square root of that, you will get V by root of Lg. See, V by root of Lg, we already know that it is a very prominent dimensionless number in fluid mechanics where the gravitational forces are predominant. So this number can be applied in the flow context where the free surface flow and gravitational forces are predominant. So this Froude number is equal to V by root of Lg. So even if you take the square root of it, if you take the reciprocal of the pi terms, the non-dimensional nature will not be affected. So you can replace this Lg by V square in the form of V by root of Lg, provided you take another function. So now the third pi term. So essentially the second pi term, now we have found out that it is actually the Froude number. Now the third pi term is mu by rho Lv. If you take the reciprocal, you will get rho Lv by mu. We already know that rho Lv by mu, that is Reynolds number, a very prominent non-dimensional number. So even if you take the reciprocal, the non-dimensional behavior will not be affected. So therefore, what you can write is this f is equal to rho L square V square into function of Lg by V square and mu by rho Lv can be written as f is equal to rho L square V square into another function, say phi 2 of, now the Lg by V square, that pi term can be written as V by root of Lg, and mu by rho Lv can be written as rho Lv by mu. We found out the resistance of a ship or force of drag, a functional relationship for which can be expressed as f is equal to rho L square V square into function of Froude number and Reynolds number. Now we will discuss Rayleigh's method of dimensional analysis. We will illustrate Rayleigh's method by solving the same question. The resistance force F of the ship is a function of length, velocity, gravitational acceleration, density and viscosity, and we have to develop a functional relationship in terms of non-dimensional numbers using Rayleigh's method. So mathematically the problem can be written as the resistance force F is a function of L, V, rho, G and mu. Let it be equation number 1 as before. And we have already written down the dimensions of each of the variables involved: length L, velocity Lt raised to -1, gravitational acceleration G, Lt raised to -2, mass density rho, ml raised to -3, dynamic viscosity mu, ml raised to -1, T raised to -1, resistance force F, mLt raised to -2. In Rayleigh's method, this problem can be modeled as the resistance force F is equal to a constant C into each of the independent variables raised to indices A, B, C, D and E. We have 5 independent variables and the dependent variable is F. So F is equal to a constant into L raised to A, V raised to B, rho raised to C, G raised to D and mu raised to E. So essentially the problem is to find the values of A, B, C, D and E. But since we have 3 fundamental dimensions M, L, T required to represent these variables, we can frame only 3 equations. See, that is a limitation to Rayleigh's method. So Rayleigh's method will be difficult to use when we have number of variables involved in the given physical phenomenon is more than 4. So what we can do is the following. So we have the dimensions already and we will replace the variables by the respective dimensions in this expression. F is equal to C into L raised to A, V raised to B, rho raised to C, G raised to D and mu raised to E. So we will insert the dimensions of each of the variables here. So we will have force with dimension mLt raised to -2 into that constant C, that is a dimensionless constant. So therefore m raised to 0, L raised to 0, T raised to 0 and L raised to A, Lt raised to -1 raised to B, that is for the velocity, then ml raised to -3 raised to C, that is rho raised to C, and Lt raised to -2 raised to D, that is instead of G raised to D, and ml raised to -1 T raised to -1 raised to E, that is instead of mu raised to E. So after inserting the dimensions of each of the variables in this expression, now we will equate the powers of m, l, t on both sides. So when you equate the powers of m on both sides, on left hand side we have power of m as 1, and right hand side, now if you collectively take, so it will be m raised to c and here m raised to e. So c plus e will be equal to 1, that is the equation you get. And now equating the powers of t, you will get b plus 2d plus e is equal to 2. So what you can write, b is equal to 2 minus 2d minus e. See, our effort is to write down expressions for a, b and c in terms of d and e, because we have only 3 equations and we have 5 unknowns now, a, b, c, d and e. So we will write the values of a, b and c in terms of d and e. So now equating the powers of L, what you can get? Left hand side we have 1 and that is equal to right hand side. Here you will get equating the powers of L means 0 plus a plus b, then minus 3c plus d and then minus e. So this is the expression you will get. So a is equal to then 1 minus b plus 3c minus d plus e. Now replace b and c by these expressions. C is equal to 1 minus e and b is equal to 2 minus 2d minus e. So once you replace c and b by these respective expressions, you can get the value of a as 2 plus d minus e. So on simplification, you will get a is equal to 2 plus d minus e. See, now we got the values of a, b and c in terms of the indices d and e. And now after getting a, b and c, now we will substitute for a, b, c in this expression. So in this expression, f is equal to c into L raised to a, v raised to b, rho raised to c, g raised to d and mu raised to e. So substitute the values of a, b and c. Remember, all these indices we have got values in terms of d and e only. So f is equal to c into L raised to 2 plus d minus e, v raised to 2 minus 2d minus e, rho raised to 1 minus e, g raised to d and then mu raised to e. So you will get c into this L raised to 2 plus d minus e can be written as L squared into L raised to d divided by L raised to e because of the negative sign. Then v raised to 2 minus 2d minus e can be written as v squared divided by v raised to 2d into v raised to e. And now rho raised to 1 minus e can be written as rho divided by rho raised to 1 divided by rho raised to e. And then g raised to d and mu raised to e, write it as it is. Then we can group now with indices, separate the numerical part and the variables with numerical parts as indices and the letters d and e. So grouping, proper grouping, what you can obtain is f is equal to c into L squared, v squared and rho, that separate it out, then into the other group of variables with index d now, that is L raised to d, then g raised to d divided by v raised to 2d. So what you can write is Lg by v squared whole raised to d. Now for the other part, remaining part now, mu raised to e, then L raised to e, v raised to e and rho raised to e. So we have grouped the variables with index e separately. So you got this group. So mu by L v rho whole raised to e you can write. Now f is equal to c into rho L square v square into Lg by v square whole raised to d, mu by L v rho, that group raised to e. F is equal to rho L square v square into this dimensionless constant c multiplied by Lg by v squared whole raised to d, then into second group mu by rho L v whole raised to e. See, we already know that Lg by V square, if you take the reciprocal and take the square root of that, that will represent Froude number, which is V by root of Lg. So what you can write is this C into Lg by V squared whole raised to D into mu by rho L V raised to E. So mu by rho L V, if you take the reciprocal, that is Reynolds number. So what essentially you can write is this constant into Lg by V squared raised to D and mu by rho L V raised to E can be written as, that part can be collectively written as a function of Froude number and Reynolds number. See, like this, a function of, so this C into Lg by V squared raised to D and mu by rho L V raised to E can be written as a function phi 1 of Lg by V squared into Lg by V squared and mu by rho L V. So that can be further written as another function of V square by Lg, taking the reciprocal on both sides, reciprocal of both the groups. So another function of V square by Lg and rho Lv by mu. So that can be further written as a function of V by root of Lg and rho Lv by mu. So that essentially means this, the resistance force F acting on the ship or force of drag, that is equal to rho L square V square into a function of Froude number and Reynolds number.